Hello, friends. It is Monday, Valentine's Day, and I am doing a little genealogy while I wait for my boss to call me. And I've had kind of a breakthrough on my grandfather's information over the weekend. I even talked to somebody. Um, and I think that I, like many other people, have fallen victim of people, happy clickers is what I call them, when you're on ancestry.com and you find a family tree and you just click it and you click and start adding everybody on it to your tree, assuming it's your person. Um, my grandfather is an absolute mystery. My mom told me that he was an orphan and his father was an orphan. So it has been very difficult trying to find any information on this man. Um, the wrong information that we clicked on was the little family in Amarillo, and his we thought his mother was May Booth Little, and it's just absolutely beautiful Booth family in the Holman family, and then she married J.C. Little, and I suspect this man was an alcoholic. I suspect this was in the early 1900s because he was president in the family about 10 years. And then the next 10 years, he was in Alabama, which is where this person was born at that time. So one census he's with his family, the next he's not, and he's listed as married. But back in Amarillo, the same census, his wife is listed as widow. The next census, we're in a 1930 now, he's in Houston, he's listed as divorced. His wife is listed as a widow, however, or divorced, however her name is Mrs. So it's just really confusing. So I'm looking at their five children. They have a son named Frank. So, and this Frank is never listed. So who's going to have two children with the same name? And then his date of birth just doesn't work into this woman's life, such as there's no way she gave birth to this boy having only at nearly the same time gave birth to this other girl, and no, they weren't twins. So, and then again, not one of those siblings, neither of those parents have any record of this person being with them on a census, on a obituary, like when they say this person died and they're survived by. He's never listed. So I very sadly deleted literally 100 people off my family tree and decided to just start from scratch and going through absolutely every document of like his children and his wife, because we know this man existed. I've got a picture of him walking my mother down the aisle. It's a side shot, but here we go. Here is I'm trying not to give you vertigo. Oops, wrong thing. Here is the Texas Department of Health Bureau of Vital Statistics. This is all the births in 1940. So you go down, and here's my mom, Frankie Beatrice. Ooh, where's my mouse? Frankie Beatrice. That's her. This is her date of birth, February 18, and here's her mom for a fact, Beatrice Toomer. Yes, they misspelled her name. So now I'm doing searches based on the misspelled name. But let's look at the father's name. We know it's Frank Little, but why does it say this? His name is not on here. It's just not there. And you think, well, maybe it's just a typo. This looks like a dot matrix thing, so it was actually a computer, however they did it. But if you look down, you see an FL Little. I don't think that's him. I really don't. I don't think it's a mistake because I've never seen anything where his name was Leslie. We don't know what his middle name was. We have no idea. So this was 1940. He and my grandma were married 1 year before. However, here is his draft card. I am so confused about this draft card. Let I'm trying to make it smaller. This draft card was filled out by somebody with impeccable handwriting. Look at that. It was filled out in 1940. And this is him, F.L. Little. This is him as a fact. Here's his date of birth as a fact, May 16, 1906. This is absolutely him. This was filled out in 1940. He was married 1 year before, over a year before. Why is his wife not listed as a person to contact? I find that very, very strange. I find it very, very strange. This man that's listed is literally a co-worker, because in 1940, when he filled this out, he worked at a sawmill. He was a carpenter, lumberman. Looked into this man, Mr. Batchelor, very well-known man in Dayton and Liberty. He had a sawmill. So this, as a fact, works out that this is my grandfather. This was his employer at the sawmill. This fellow here was a co-worker. He was, it said in newspaper.com, his obituary said he was a stone man and worked for the lumber yard. I don't know how that worked out. I'm sure it does in however way. But you see right here, it says they're not related at all. So I find it very unusual that a man that's been married a year does not list his wife as a point of contact. The McGinty's drugs here, that was usually a catch-all for a whole bunch of people's phone number because they had those exchanges back then. But he never served in the military unless he was deep undercover, so to speak. That is the consensus on a message board on on Facebook right now. Everybody's going crazy saying, oh, he was a spy. Oh, he was witness protection program. All that interesting stuff. But no, as interesting and cool and different and unique as that would be, no, I wasn't there. No, I was not there. But no, he was very present in his kids' lives that I know of. But, they're listed on census records, but he is not. And here is my confirmation here of, I've just requested a copy of my mother's birth certificate to see if that has his name on it. Because people on the message board are telling me that was what, they even sent me a link showing me that the do not issue was put when the father was deceased. And that way nobody claiming to be him could come and get it. Well, no, he was not deceased. He was very present in their lives. Did not die in 1970. Speaking of, here is his death certificate. And as you can see here on his draft card, it says he was born in Mobile, Alabama. Over here on his death certificate, it says Nashville, Tennessee. Right there. Now, I have to put myself in my grandmother's shoes and try to figure out, what was she thinking, what was going on. My grandmother was Mrs. F.L. Little. That was Eva Beatrice Little. So she was married to this man 30-something years. Certainly they had lots of conversations. So when the time came and she was called on to give information for his death certificate, she probably provided information he gave her. So I think that's where the Flora E. Pierce comes from. My grandmother was a pretty smart cookie. I don't see her pulling that name out of nowhere. She had to have had a reason to provide that name. And lo and behold, I got a DNA hit on a couple family trees with this person on it. I've spoken to the holder of the family tree, and they are not budging. They're not willing to concede that their Pentecostal mother had a child in an indiscretion, let's say, because I'm thinking that's what this has to be. They won't allow it. And when you go and look at her family tree and you see her 10 children she had, there's room for him. there's room in the years where he could have been born. But it begs the question, they were farmers. Why would they give up a child? Why would they give up a male child? Because, they had a lot of children to help out on the farm. So it just doesn't make sense. We have zero DNA hints on the people we thought he was related to. Zero. But we have 2 hits on the Pierce family. This is where I am with my genealogy search on my grandfather. Looky here on his death certificate, it says he was a timber contractor. So we have a couple chairs that he made, and I keep meaning to refinish them and give them to my siblings for a present. I keep forgetting to do that. But here it says his father's name is Charles Little. Can find nothing of this man, can find nothing of this woman. So my next step is I'm going to continue looking for any kind of documentation that has his name on it. He's not on any census records, and that's just weird. What was going on in his life? Maybe he had a different name. Maybe he changed his name. But why? Why? I'm looking for anything that has his name on it, But let's say, okay, 1910, he was 4 years old. Where was he to not have his name on a census? I've looked through orphanages. I've looked through adoptions. I can't find anything to match it. And I'm trying. Trying. I requested the birth certificate for my mom. Maybe it'll be on there. But anyway, I emailed my good friend in Utah who's very good at this stuff. I'm waiting to hear back from him. I emailed my cousin who I met on Ancestry.com, who is an absolute genius with genealogy. She just replied. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to close this up, go on over to my email and see what she has to say. And I will let y'all know in the comments. Have a wonderful Monday. Happy Valentine's.